Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I thought I would show you how I do my everyday makeup with vitiligo because I get so many questions on how I do my makeup, so I thought I'll show you. Now I have filmed another get ready with me before doing my makeup, which is already up on my channel, so if you want to watch that you definitely can. I was getting ready for an event, so the look that I did was a little bit heavier and I did a red lip, and yeah, it wasn't really my like everyday look. Anyway, let's get on to applying makeup. Now the best base for makeup is always skincare. So I'm going to start with this serum. This is the Shiseido, I think I'm pronouncing that right, I don't know. Power Infusing Concentrate 3, and this is their limited edition bottle, which is so pretty. This is from Mecca and it smells amazing. I love using this on my skin. It also absorbs in really easily, which is really nice for me because I don't like things that feel too heavy on the skin. And then next, I'm going to go in with this, which is the Embryolisse Lait-Creme Fluide. I've gone through probably about 4 to 5 tubes of the concentrate of this, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get the bigger bottle, and this is slightly like runnier than the concentrate, but it's pretty much a very similar consistency, and I love this. My skin also loves this. I've been using this for a few years, and this is always my go-to when my skin is sort of flaring up or not feeling as great. I always come back to this. Again, this also feels really nice on the skin, it smells great, and it absorbs really nicely, and I know a lot of makeup artists love this. That's actually how I discovered this, was from makeup artists applying it on me on set, and then once I started using it I just couldn't stop. So yeah, that's my very basic skin prep. I like to keep things not super complicated, especially since I try lots of different products, and sometimes when you overload your skin with too many different active ingredients it can flare up, and mine definitely does that. So I like to keep it pretty simple and try a few products at a time. Okay, now that skincare is done, let's move on to primer. I have quite a few now, and I never really used to use primer, but I have started using it a bit more often. Probably my most used primer is this. This is the MCoBeauty all-in-one color correcting serum, and I believe this is actually a dupe for the Stila version, and when I mean dupe I mean like a direct copy because it looks exactly the same, and I didn't know that until after I bought it. So I'm gonna finish it up and then I'm gonna purchase the Stila one, but as you can see I have been loving it, and the main reason I like it, this one in particular over others, is the 3 different color correcting colors that are in the tube. So it kind of does it all in one, and I actually bought recently this Stila color correcting palette, and so that's got all of the colors in it. But sometimes it can be a bit tedious using a palette like this and a bit more time consuming, versus this product you just pump it out, rub it in, and it kind of does everything for you. And the reason I use this mainly is for the green color, which color corrects redness, and in my lighter skin I have a lot of redness because if you didn't know, vitiligo actually removes the melanin, which is the pigment in your skin. So the darker skin is my natural skin shade because I'm Sri Lankan. That's another question I get asked all the time, is what ethnicity I am, and I am Sri Lankan, but I live in Australia and have so since I was 8 years old, hence the kind of Australian accent. But yeah, in my lighter parts of my skin I actually have no pigment, so I'm a bit more susceptible to the sun and the redness comes through a lot easier. So that's sort of why I like to color correct, because I don't like to apply heavy makeup, and I love my skin as it is. I just do some subtle things to color correct it when I choose to wear makeup, which by the way I don't actually wear every day, but when I do choose to wear makeup, if I'm doing something, then this is sort of the look that I go to. Okay, moving on to the base, I have had a couple of products that I have been loving for an everyday sort of look, and that is these. These are the L'Oreal True Match Plumping Tinted Serum, and it has 1% pure hyaluronic acid, and the reason I like these is because it's super lightweight, as you'll see in a second. It is basically like a serum. It also has some nice glow properties in it, but not only that, is that it doesn't apply super sheer. It is a sheer coverage, which is what I tend to go for an everyday look, but it's not super sheer. It still gives me some color, and like I said, it still kind of color corrects some of that redness, which is what I look for in a foundation product, which is why I think this is perfect for like an everyday look, especially for me who, like I said, I don't like heavy products and I don't want a heavy application of foundation. I just want to even my skin tone, that's all. Now, I usually use a brush because it does give you a fuller coverage than a beauty blender would, and I've just always been a brush girl. I don't use a beauty blender super often. I do sometimes, but not super often. And I just sort of dab it into my skin because I find that's the best way to get coverage that I want, but also make it look like skin. Don't worry, as you can see, I've gotten the light foundation over my darker skin, but we're going to come back and clean that up. This is one of the most asked questions I get, is how I do foundation with two skin tones. And as you can tell, I choose to match both my skin tones. So what I'm going to do is just wipe away some of that lighter colour off my dark skin. I usually always start with the lighter colour just because it's in the middle of my face, and then I go to the colour that's on the outside. But if I was to do it the opposite way, I'd still do the same. I'd still just wipe off the excess. And I'm not super accurate with it, so I kind of just rub it off. And as you can see sort of here, I've taken, I don't know if the camera's quite picking it up, but I've taken off some of the foundation from my lighter skin, so I just go back and blend. And really the trick with applying foundation on my skin and how I prefer to do it is just blending. So I'm going to go in with the darker shade now. I don't apply a lot of it, and then I use a different brush which I don't have out, usually this one. These two are both Fenty beauty brushes, and yeah, just blend that out as well. And then for an area like this where I have a patch of lighter skin, I'll just wipe it off. And then I kind of just do the same. If I get some on my lighter skin, that's fine. We'll come back and blend it out, because again, it's just all about blending. And I'm not super precise with it. I kind of just slap it on, blend it out, and that's just what I prefer to do to keep it natural and to keep it looking like my skin already does. I choose not to cover my vitiligo. I think it is just part of me. I have done videos over on Instagram and TikTok of covering it with some different foundations. I've got some more videos of that going out soon as well, so definitely follow me over there if you want to see those ones. And one of the reasons I spoke about in those videos is because I have it sort of like all down my arms. I have it not so much on my chest, but I have it on my legs, so you can still see vitiligo. It's not just purely on my face, which is why I choose not to cover it up. And I have no time to like color correct my whole body, so I choose not to do anything to it. Okay, now that I've applied the dark shade, I'm just going to go back in with the lighter brush and I'm just going to blend out some of those areas. I don't mind the top bits having a little bit of color because it just looks a bit like bronzer, but everywhere else I kind of just blend it out. So that's my base done. Now I'm going to move on to contour / bronzer. I don't really tend to use a bronzer that often, but I do love this. This is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick Contour Stick. This is in the shade Espresso, and I like to use it just kind of drawing almost like a little bit of an S shape. I mean, that one definitely wasn't an S, that was just a straight line, but usually I kind of do it like this and then kind of make it like an S-ish shape, and then on the bottoms of my jawline. And for me, this is sort of my version of bronzer, but I really just use it to shape my face. I'm using a pointed foundation brush, and then I just take it right to the corners of my head, and really I'm just trying to define my face shape. Not super harsh, but just a little bit. I think beauty can be you with or without makeup, and beauty is what you choose it to be. I don't wear makeup every day, but I do like wearing makeup sometimes, and this is how I like to wear it. I know lots of people comment on my videos saying you don't need makeup, and I know I don't, and I don't wear it every day, but sometimes I do like to wear makeup, just like everyone else does. And instead of using it to hide what my skin looks like already, I try and use it to enhance the features of my skin that I do like my two skin tones, my eyelashes, my cheeks, my face shape, things like that. And sometimes, you know, you're not gonna love every single part of your body. Especially as women, we're taught to not love ourselves and to always find things that we need to be changing about our body and our skin and our face and our hair and our outward appearance. But I'm trying to not go with those things, and I'm trying to unlearn and reteach myself to appreciate what I have and who I am, and that being me is not just about my outward appearance, although for me it is strongly about my outward appearance because of my vitiligo, but it's also taught me to be okay with other things because I am okay with my skin, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm using the excess of my contour brush to just contour my nose, and again I just kind of put it down really lightly. I'm not trying to change my nose shape, I'm just accentuating it. That's all. And I'm just going to use the excess on the brush just to sort of add some colour to my outer eyes, and that's sort of going to act as eyeshadow later on. But yeah, once I've done that and blended everything out, I kind of do this all very quickly. It's just all about blending. Now for blush, which is one of my favorite parts of makeup, especially on my skin, because I find that blush for me is my version of bronzer. It's what ties both of my skin shades together, especially on my cheeks, and I think it's what gives me that glow, whether it's a summer glow, whether it's an autumn glow, you know, whatever season we're in. I'm currently in summer because I live in Australia, and I don't know what blush shade I'm gonna go for. I feel like with both of my skin tones I can pull off quite a few shades, and I have quite a lot of blushes and I'm stuck. I don't know which one I'm gonna choose. This is the Kylie Lip and Cheek Blush Tint in the shade Pretty in Neutral, which I do like. Guys, this is my go-to, which is, oh, and I almost dropped it. This is the Too Faced Cloud Crush blush in the shade Head in the Clouds. This is probably one of my most used blushes because I think it glows really nicely on my darker skin. So maybe I'll just use these two. Let's start with this one. I have used it before. I'm going to squeeze a little bit. Oh, almost dropped it. Squeeze a little bit of it out. Just going to dot it on the tops of my cheek, and I'm going to use it on my lips as well. Just a bit of a natural tint. Now I'm just going to use a brush to just blend out, and I try and keep my blush to the very high points of my cheek, but sometimes it just creeps in towards the middle. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out my face shape and experimenting with makeup product on different parts of my face, whether the blush is in the middle, the blush is on the outside, and I have also been lucky enough to have a variety of makeup artists do makeup on me, so I've sort of learnt from where they place products on my face as well. And I think a lot of doing makeup for me is just the placement of product, and everyone has a different face shape, everyone has a different preference on how they like their makeup, and that's okay. I think we are human, our bodies are not trends, but we can still try trends, and I think I've always been scared to try different trends. I never used to wear tight fitted dresses growing up because I just thought my body was not made for them. I couldn't wear them because it would show my tummy or like bits of fat on my body, and I kind of hated my body since I was 11. So now I am a bit braver to try different things, and I feel like placement of makeup products on your face is the equivalent to styling in fashion. I think if you just wear something, it can look very different on you versus styled, and I think that's the same with makeup. Just applying it where you see everyone else apply it is always different to applying it for your face shape and how you like to express yourself. So that's a pretty natural blush, and I probably actually wouldn't go too much more. In person it is a lot more pigmented than it appears on camera, but for the sake of the camera I'm going to apply a little bit more. This is the Too Faced blush. This is a powder blush, the other one was a cream blush, and I'm just going to again apply it to the high points of the cheek. I do love a strong blush, so I'm okay with this. And again, I use the excess product to go over my eyes. It's just the easiest way for me to do eyeshadow that is neutral, that blends in with the rest of my face, that isn't too much effort, especially for an everyday makeup look. Alright, now speaking of eyes, I'm going to do some eyeshadow. One of my go-to palettes is this Polite Society palette. This is also from Mecca, and I like to use the lighter shade here just to sort of blend over sort of the cream products that I've already applied on my lid, being the contour and the blush that I used before. Once I've done that, I go into like this shade here. It's like the second darker shade in the palette, and then just blend it into the outer corner of my eyes. That's sort of it. That's probably more eyeshadow than I would usually wear. But also what I really like to do is take a Q-tip or a cotton bud and use the corner of it to just pull out. It just creates that sharp line on the side of my eye, and as you can see, it sort of pulls my eye upwards. Makeup is all about tricks. And then I sort of just blend it out with my finger because I don't want it to be too harsh. I always pull it out towards the end of my eyebrow. I just think that that suits my face shape a lot. And I'm going to use this is my light foundation brush to just blend some of the blush out on my cheeks. Now that's basically eyes done. I'm going to come back to mascara. Before I do that, I'm going to do my eyebrows. I'm just using a spoolie to brush them out. I'm going to use a paper towel or like a little cotton pad to just clean over the top of my eyebrows just to get the product off. And the reason I do this is I find that when I apply a brow gel, sometimes it goes a bit funny because it picks up all the pigment that's from my foundation, and I don't really like that. And I'm trying to keep the colour of my brows to match my hair. Probably my most used brow pencil is this It Cosmetics brow powder. Basically almost out of this. But I just use it to just shape my eyebrows and just fill in. I don't do too much, and my eyebrows are a bit overgrown at the moment, but that's okay. That's how we are as humans. My eyebrows aren't always done. I don't always have time to go get them done or do them myself, so sometimes they do grow hair outside of the line. So I kind of just roughly apply it, and then I use the other end, which is a spoolie, to just blend it through. This is the crucial step because it's what makes it look more natural, not like you've just drawn on your eyebrows. So yeah, once I do that, I'm just going to use my finger and I just clean up the top and bottom, and then again go over the brows with a spoolie. Now when my brows are not laminated, which they aren't really at the moment, I like to just leave them as they are, just keep it very natural. On to one of my favourite steps, which is mascara and curling my eyelashes. I always curl my eyelashes. I do have pretty long lashes, but they do grow outwards, so I usually give them a good curl. I really like this lash curler because it has the brush on it as well, which just helps brush my lash hairs upwards. And then this is this Superhero mascara by It Cosmetics. Again, one of my favorites. I kind of go back and forth with mascaras, and there's so many that I like, but this is one of them. I'll probably layer two of them together, which is sort of what I often do. I love a big lash look, so I'm gonna layer them, although that is a pretty nice natural looking lash. And I also always do my bottom lashes, so I'm gonna do my other eye, and then we'll come back. I feel like I can't speak when I curl my eyelashes. If you're ever having your makeup done and your hair done at the same time and they try and curl your lashes, make sure you say no. Have the person doing your hair stop for a second so that whoever's doing your makeup can curl your lashes, because I have had that experience before and I was like, this isn't really gonna go well, and I made sure that there was only one person working on me at once to curl my lashes. It's kind of a weird experience having someone else curl your lashes, but I have gotten used to it now. Fun fact about me with mascara is I am ambidextrous only when it comes to applying mascara and eyeliner. So I apply my right side with my right hand and my left side with my left hand, and I just can't, I can't go over and do it like that. I think I just get it everywhere. So I've sort of just learnt over time to just do it with my other hand because I can get a much better application with it. I don't really do anything else with my left hand. I can kind of write with my left hand. My left hand isn't too bad. My trick with mascara is finding one that works for you. For me, it's clumpy mascara. Works so much better on my lashes because it gives me the length and volume that I want. But I know some people don't like clumpy mascara, but I'm always looking for volume. Anyway, that is one coat. I might do a second coat with a different mascara. This is one of my other favorite mascaras. This is the Better Than Sex mascara by Too Faced, and this was probably my first chemist mascara that I absolutely loved and have been using since I was like 18. Not the same tube, I've gone through multiple tubes. This is a new one, but I've been using this mascara since I was 18. And like I said, I love big lashes, so I like to add a bit more, but you can also leave it like this. And sometimes I do leave it like that for a bit more of a natural lash. It depends what I'm doing, where I'm going, and probably how much time I have to get ready, to be honest. And what I always do is clean it up, and I did get a little bit here. I'm gonna use another Q-tip, and I use that under my eyes to get any mascara off, because I always get it on my eyelashes. Sorry, I always get it on my eyelids. I'm meant to be getting mascara on my eyelashes. I think a tip that I heard with mascara that you get on your skin is to let it dry and then you just use a spoolie to brush it off. Now I'm almost done. I'm going to apply this Home Beauty lip gloss. This is in the shade Drip, and I love this color because it's such a nice neutral, especially over that Kylie blush that I applied earlier. And recently this has been sort of my go-to natural lip shade. It's not too pink, but it's not too neutral. It's quite nice. And then my favorite highlighter trick recently has been this Mecca Max stick. This is in the shade Glass, so it actually doesn't have color. It's almost just like a balm, but I like to apply it on the high points of my cheeks. I think you can definitely see it there. And then I also apply it on my top of my brow bone and on the inner corners of my eyes to sort of give me that like glossy look, and just a bit on down my nose. And with this I just used my finger to just blend it out. This has been my favorite like summer glow hack. And that's it, that's my highlighter. It just gives you just a nice natural glow without it being glittery, and I find that's the best for natural makeup looks. It's also great if you don't have makeup on and you just want to apply it to your bare skin. I feel like it looks just as great. Lastly, for setting spray, I'm going to use the Home Beauty Golden Hour setting spray. This is basically over. I love this. I do have another bottle of it. I'm going to try and finish this one. And this also gives you such a nice glow. This is one of my like go-tos in summer for glowy makeup, but I think it could equally look nice over like a nice autumny like berry toned makeup to sort of counteract dry winter skin. So this is my finished everyday makeup look, and obviously I really love it. I love how natural it looks, but I still look like I'm wearing a little bit of makeup, and I'm not covering up my vitiligo. That was my main thing when it comes to makeup, is that I don't cover up my vitiligo because I love it just the way it is. It's constantly changing and I'm okay with that. It does it all over my body. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do my makeup. If you have any other questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I've listed all the products that I've used in the description as well if you want to check them out. And if you have any makeup suggestions, even creative makeup looks, or if you want to see me try something on my skin, please let me know, because I love trying your suggestions and trying new products and getting a bit creative with makeup. This is obviously, like I said, my everyday makeup look, but I do like to do some glam looks, some different lip looks, and even do some very creative colorful looks. I have done rainbow eyes and drawn different patterns in my skin, so if you have any suggestions, please leave them below, and I can't wait to try them out. Also, I've linked the get ready with me video I did last time if you want to go and watch that and see me do a bit more of a glam look. It's not full glam, but a little bit more glam, but that is linked for you below, and make sure you subscribe over here as well. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!